We are live. Troy Francis, James Tusk in Bogota, back from behind the wall of cancellation, here to talk about secretly still getting onto YouTube, even despite the cancellation for his extreme views on masculinity. And yeah, we're here to talk about basically one of the most important elements of Edge. It's the final E in Edge, and it is emotional and social intelligence as a man. Okay, and you know, this is almost really like the game part, isn't it? And it's kind of one of the most. They're all important, but this is super important because if you're not emotionally intelligent, and if you're not socially intelligent, and if you're not going out there and actually doing something, then you're kind of fucked, aren't you? You're not going to get anywhere.
The biggest part is taking action, consistent action, which is something guys don't do. It's pathetic, but you ask most guys, you know, how many girls you've spoken to in the last... Well, you ask most guys, you know, which offends them straight away and they fuck off, which is, you know, how many girls you slept with in the last 3 months. And then they go 0 or they go 2. And then you go, okay, so how many... You work it back from there. Okay, how many dates have you been on in the last 3 months? 0, 1 from social media dating. Okay, how many women have you spoken to in the last 3 months that you didn't know? 0. Well, it's no fucking surprise, is it? Right. So that's why the first part of the equation we work on is social freedom, getting you out there every day, consistency, and speaking to people. Take the shots as you see them. We always suggest 1 to 3 situational approaches per day. You see a girl in the gym, you see a girl on the way to the coffee shop, you see the girl on the way to work, at lunch, on the way to see your friends, you go and speak to her, you go and say hello. And then on top of that, we suggest you go out at least one time for a longer session, maybe 1 to 2 hours on a Friday or a Saturday with a wing and do 10 approaches, right? And then you've hit your quota for the week. You've done maybe minimum 15, but more towards 20 approaches per week. That will get you dates. That will get you laid 1,000%. If you can just commit to doing that. If you can commit to walking up to 20 new women a week, starting a conversation, asking for a phone number without any techniques and any compliment and not knowing anything about flirting, you will still get probably 1 date a week, right? But the problem is guys aren't even willing to do that.
Yeah,
so the pussification of man is very real.
Yeah, and do you think that in a way we've probably contributed to this, and other people in the space have contributed because we've made it seem like this hugely complicated thing where you have to learn all this stuff? And look, there is stuff to learn for sure, but like you said, really the reality is even if you didn't learn any of it and you just did the approaching, you'd still get some action. So do you
one
think
of the OGs, good-looking loser,
paralysis,
one of the OGs, good that we both resonate with, said it best. Good-looking loser, called a basic guy game. Walk up to 20 women a week, say hello, make conversation about nothing, and ask for a phone number. Do that 20 times a week, and you will get at least 1 date a week. And he wasn't wrong, because I've experimented doing that myself, and I've experimented with students doing it who look pretty average. You know, so guys will obviously go out, well, Tusk, you're good looking, you know, you're in a suit, doesn't count. Yeah. But I've used it on students, just saying, look, go up and just make small talk. Just say hello, wanted to say hi. Don't even give a compliment, make small talk. Do that 20 times a week and tell me the results. And they're going on minimum 1 to 2 dates a week. So that's all you have to fucking do, right? But guys are so fucking lazy and they're so in
well, I think he's frozen. Either he's frozen or I've frozen. I'm not sure which one. But yes, that was a good rant that he was in the middle of there. So basically, yeah, I mean, you need to be prepared. By the way, put in the chat, questions in the chat, comments in the chat, stick them in there. Let us know what you think of the stream so far, what you want us to cover, anything that you want us to sort of clarify or whatever. But it seems like he's frozen there. I'm not sure. Let me know in the chat who's frozen, if it's me or if it's him or which it is. But yeah, basically, if you were simply, you know, oh, it is him. Okay. Basically, if you were simply just like, if you were simply, you know, just going out and approaching without understanding any of this stuff, without knowing any technique at all, you would still be getting results, right? You'd still be meeting people. You would still be, you know, getting some phone numbers, and you'd be getting some dates out of that. It really is as simple as that. And the reason is, firstly, yes, it's a numbers game to some extent. But secondly, also, women also want to meet cool guys, right? And there is a perception I think James is coming back in now. There is a perception that women are just deluged with amazing opportunities all the time, and it is true that they get a lot of attention, and they do get, they sometimes will get high quality guys coming into their DMs, but a lot of the time they're also getting a shitload of chums just sending them stupid DMs, and then they were never going to have sex with those guys anyway. So if you walk up and you present reasonably well and you just say hi, then for her, that, she's looking for guys that she wants to meet if she's single. So, you're onto a win. Sorry, James, you cut out there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was just saying, guys just need to man up. Like, it's not rocket science. If you look at your habits in a non-emotional way, take yourself out of your habits for each day and each week, and just reflect back on every Sunday. I like to use Sunday as a reflection day, right? To think about, right, what have I actually done this week, and what do I need to do next week, right? Because it's very easy to say we're going to do stuff and harder to actually do the actions, right? But I think guys need to take a long, hard look in the mirror, almost David Goggins style accountability mirror, right? The reason there's no point me sitting here bitching and moaning about not going on dates. The reason I haven't gone on any dates is because I didn't speak to any women, right? So how the fuck can you expect to get laid from cold approach if you're not prepared to go and do the cold approach? It doesn't work. So this is where guys need to fucking be a bit more objective, take a hawk's eye view on their own life, and really be accountable. And I know it's hard, and I know most guys can't do this. That's where we come in with the Edge 3, because over 10 weeks, we give you gamified approach tasks to do, which increase in difficulty. And if you stick to the process, stop worrying about getting laid, stick to the process of just doing what we say to do, which is go out and be social, flirt with the world, be bantering, be playful with everyone, but then take the shots and hit the quota of approaches we give you each week, depending on your stage currently. If you're not approaching at all, we'll just get you started with hit and run compliments. If you're already approaching a lot, we'll push you further. But it's all about just actually taking the action consistently. So it's exactly the same as being in shape, right? The guys that are in shape in the gym, that you see at the gym, it's no surprise. Every day they're working out and they've got their dart on point every day. The guys that are getting paid a lot in dating, they're constantly interacting with women. They're constantly trying to seduce women. It's not rocket science. Guys seem to think it's this big secret. It's not. It's just consistency. You do anything with consistency, you will get better at it with time. You do something with consistency where you have coaches giving you the keys to the kingdom to save your most valuable asset, which is time, and you will 10x the speed at which you learn it. So a big part of the Edge course is us getting guys out there, being social, and with that, you just have to show up. We give you the task to do, being social. We gamify it and make it fun. And you just fucking get it done. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. Guys want to overcomplicate it. Once you're able to do the social freedom part of it, then we can talk about the flirting and teasing and bantering. But the problem with most guys is they're theory junkies. So they sit there masturbating to theory, masturbating to our content, masturbating to other men approaching women online, which is just fucking weird if you think about it. The reason we put out infields is to show you what is possible and to show you can speak to women during the daytime. It's not so you sit there voyeuristically, literally like in this flow state, watching me go up to girls and call them French all day long. I mean, you might as well sit there watching porn, so at least you can get your rocks off. And if you're wanking to me, speaking to women in a suit, you've got some serious fetish issues. You need to change that. But the point is it's just going out there and doing what you should be naturally doing. The most natural process on earth is you speaking to women and reproducing with women. That's all we're born to do on an evolutionary level. Everything else is fluff. You sitting there watching pixels on a screen of some other dude banging another woman is not natural, right? You going and interacting with women in real life, which happened for millennia before PCs and smartphones were invented. That's how the species propagated for millions of years. So you've got to get back in touch with your animalistic nature. And it's about stripping off this fucking softening of the masculinity that's been put in place by modern society, stripping off of this sheep mentality, this victim mentality, this scared of women mentality. It's your only evolutionary prerogative. Your only reason you're actually alive as a hairless ape is to go and speak to women, interact with women, and try and have sex and reproduce. And whether you want to actually have kids or not is irrelevant. That process is still what you're driven by as the most natural process on earth. So if you're unable to do that, that's something you've got to look at fixing, and that's why you should work with us on the Edge.
Absolutely, yeah. And it does close tomorrow at midnight, so you need to really, step on it now.
Midnight, the link what? UK time, US time?
US time. Right. So we'll do it California time. So they're going to have You know, they're going to have a little bit longer. Yeah, they're going to have a little bit longer if you're in the UK. But basically, tomorrow at midnight Pacific time, it's going to close. That is the link. Go and have a look at the link. You can at least read the page because it will give you all the details that you need about the course, all the wonderful things that you're going to get inside. No obligation to buy if you click that link, but you absolutely should buy because ultimately it's going to close and then that's going to be it. Then you're going to be sitting outside weeping into your cornflakes, thinking, "Oh my God, if only I'd have joined the Edge 3 because all these guys are getting these great results and now I'm not." I mean, look, there's so many people who watch this stuff and they've been, intending for ages to get their dating life sorted out, and they just haven't done anything about it. And now really is
pathetic. It's staying wallowing in victim mentality and finding the reason the black pill community exists is because it's a community of victims who basically have been feminine victims who listen, overly emotional. It's pathetic. It's fucking pathetic.
Yeah. Now, props to I won't mention his name, but we've had a student who's re-enrolled after last time, and he was on our stream the other day, and we were saying he hadn't taken as much action as he could have done, and blah blah blah. Now he's re-enrolled, and listen, props to him because at least he's taking that action. Like at least he's making this serious enough that he's like, no, actually, fuck it, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to go through this process again. I mean, obviously it's going to be very different this time, but nevertheless, because he wants to level up. And I mean, fuck, man. I mean, that is. At least things like that are doing something, That's
great, and we're avoiding the mess from last time of guys basically coming in and not paying lip service to this shit, but not actually signing up, not actually taking the action. Because after 3 weeks, if you're not doing the approach task, we're just going to boot you out, and we're going to stage the approach task to you. So don't worry. Look, if you've never done a cold approach and you're coming into the Edge, it will just start with compliments, right? Just hitting on compliments. Going to make it very easy. It's all tailored to your level of where you're at socially. So we're not trying to fuck you over. We're not just going to suddenly say, right, you've got to do 50 approaches in a day if you've never approached a cold approach to go. Everything will be gamified and staged to your individual level. But once we agree on that with you, your tasks for the week, and you've agreed to do those tasks because you feel those are slightly out of your comfort zone but are doable, if you repeatedly don't do them, you're just gone from the course. And I have no guilt because you guys have only paid $579. And as I've said before, to get access to myself, Troy, Tusk, and the other experts, and Les and the other experts, over 10 weeks, we're earning no money from this anyway. So I have no guilt booting you out if you're going to play the victim and you're not going to
because ultimately, look, I mean, you don't pay us for the pleasure of access to a digital product. I mean, yes, you do technically, but really what you're paying for, really what you want is the result, okay? And the result is that you are comfortable in your own skin, you're comfortable approaching women, you're able to exude sexuality, you've got that bad boy side, etc., etc. So you're comfortable with making approaches, and those approaches are more effective than they would otherwise have been because you've got the other stuff dialed in. That's what you're really paying for. And if you don't do the steps in order to get that, then the rest of it is just fluff. You're just watching videos, fine, but it's meaningless unless you're actually taking the advice that we're giving you. So it's
tough love. It's tough love. Like, all these dudes in the industry, let's be fucking honest, they've got zero integrity as men. There's not a single guy who works in the industry who does a similar role to what we do that I would go to war with, that I would trust to have my back when the chips are down. They're all fucking feminized soy boys. They're all fucking scammers trying to take your money. They don't actually give a shit about leveling themselves up to be the hero version of themselves or leveling their clients up. We're doing this because we're trying to create some tough love here. The most brutal honesty with you guys that are doing the course is the best form of, it's the highest form of gratitude from us. Because we're not just going to sit there and go, "Oh, it's all good, baby, that you've done an approach over 10 weeks and you're going to get laid." Oh no, it's not all good, baby. You've got bitch tits. It's not all good, baby. You dress like a fucking homeless person. The course is there to level you up over 10 weeks to be a way better version than you were before. And if you sign up to the Edge and you stick to the process we give you, you will be. But alongside that comes tough love, comes honesty. We're not going to blow smoke up your ass if you're not doing the work. If you're not doing what we say we're going to do, we're going to call you out on it. Right. And there's a great concept in psychology. The boss is always watching. The subconscious records everything you do. So even if you bullshit us, right, and trick us into pretending you're doing stuff, your subconscious knows that you're not. So you're still going to look in the mirror and still lack self-respect and still look at yourself as a fucking worm because you know you're not doing the work you need to do. So there's no way out. There's no way out of life. You can't lie to yourself in life. You either do what you say you're going to do and develop high levels of self-esteem, self-love, and self-respect and self-worth, or you pretend to do stuff to other people and you feel like a fucking worm. And that's where you lie in bed, tossing and turning with all this existential angst. Because I know from my own experience, when I've been preaching the good fight and not actually backing up my own actions, on what I'm talking about, that's where I feel most low. That's where I feel most lost in life and most existential, because I know I'm lying, right? You can't lie to yourself. You can't lie to your subconscious. It records everything that's going on. So guys need to wake up and smell the roses and realize there's no way out. If you commit to this path of self-betterment, it's all in. It's all chips in. There's no half gangstering it. It's all in. And maybe you have to sit down, maybe this Sunday, even if you're not doing the fucking edge, right? Sit down this Sunday and just assess your life. Try and take a hawk's eye view on where you're at in life, and just decide, right, where am I honestly, and where do I honestly want to be, and see how much of a gap there is to bridge. Because I would imagine this, in most people's scenarios watching this content, there's a massive bridge to gap. And this is where narcissism fucks you in a way. And we teach you to tactically be narcissistic in the course because extreme self-confidence with women is very sexy. You have to give the impression, even if you don't believe it, that you're better than the woman, because women are hypergamous. She's not going to fuck you if she thinks you're better than her. But this is the double-edged sword with narcissism, because we know a couple of people in common who are very narcissistic, and this is where it fucks them, because they have such an inflated view of themselves, they can't see reality, and they're not willing to do the work. So this is we're getting into high level stuff here, and we don't need to, but this is really where you need to be. You need to have true self accountability, right? One of the hardest. Richard Feynman said it best. He goes, "The easiest person to fool is yourself," right? And we all sit there in our little ego bubbles, especially in this industry, often fooling ourselves. We haven't done the work we need to do, and then you feel this disalignment with yourself. It's because you're bullshitting yourself, and you can't bullshit yourself. Right? The more times you break the words yourself, the more times you say, and I'm guilty of this. I've done this for years with different things. And sometimes I'll go with it, sometimes I won't. But the more you say you're going to do stuff, and the more you don't actually do it, the more self-respect you lose.
Yeah, for sure.
Your word should be a bond. If your word isn't even a bond to yourself, if you can't even fucking lead yourself, how the fuck can you lead other people? Right? How the fuck can you be expected to influence other people? So this is where this true self-honesty, true accountability comes in. And if you can provide that for yourselves, then we can use that and then give you the motivation to level up. But it starts with self-honesty and being honest where you're at and where you want to go.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a fascinating idea, actually, this thing about narcissism, which we sort of we've talked about this between us, haven't we, recently? And it's like, I mean, if you want to display that in front of the girls because they like narcissistic men and they like guys who think very highly of themselves. It's sexy, but with yourself, you've got to be fucking brutally honest and be like,
you've got to be and it's a double-edged sword of narcissism. Yeah. And we both know a couple of people in common where they actually lack a lot of self-awareness because their narcissism is so high. It prevents them leveling up, and they can't see it. It's really bizarre. It's so obvious. They can't progress. They're stagnant. And then they get angry with the world and they wonder why the world doesn't bend to their will. It's because you've got to tactically use narcissism in dating. But if you're narcissistic, it's the opposite of self-awareness, and it's going to keep you at a certain level, 100%.
So, Arjan says, how important do you think dressing is in approaching? Does it reduce bad rejections? I mean, I wouldn't say it reduces bad rejections. I think it's a string to your bow. I think it helps for sure. And in the course, we actually will. Well, we're yet to arrange it, but we will likely have another masterclass with our tailor, our own personal tailor, who's a guy called Jack, based in London. Obviously, menswear expert. And I've actually got. We could even potentially, there might even be somebody else we can bring in as well to talk a bit more about men's style. But I mean, for sure, it helps. But I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker. You don't want to be going below a certain level. You don't want to be dressing like a hobo. And she's like, "Oh my god," or this, dressing extremely badly. That would definitely be to your detriment. But as well, yes, if you look smart, you look sharp, that she's going to think, cool, this guy's cool. That's going to add to your attractiveness, but it's not actually in itself going to get you over the line, right? Like with all of these things, they're little pieces of the puzzle, but it's not like saying I wear some amazing clothes and she's going to fuck me because of that. There needs to be more. So it's a string to your bow, but it's not the whole thing.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think guys overall could do with dressing better, with dressing sharper. It's very rare we meet a well-dressed man who comes into this course. I think getting a decent suit, and a decent blazer, some jeans, some boots, white shirt. These are just basic looks, guys.
Oh no! I think he's frozen again. What a disaster. But I think what he was saying. I mean, just Menswear is not hugely complicated, really, because you can rely on the classics. You've got the old, you've got the suits, you've got the jeans and the blazer look. Old perennial favorite that still works. You've got I don't know, chinos and a nice polo shirt, nice fitted t-shirt, nice overcoat. It's all pretty basic stuff. We're not talking about sort of reinventing the wheel here, as far as clothing is concerned. Fundamental, basic menswear stuff. There's a load of great accounts on Instagram for like classic menswear. Have a look at those, and you can steal things from that. But I think the suited and booted look, you can't really go far wrong with, as long as the stuff is fitting well. So anyway, sorry, James, carry on.
Yeah, it's a suit. Most guys can't look. Most students, they can't pull off the bad boy look we work with. We can when we make it congruent. Actually turn you into a guy with a bit of edge. But most guys are born fashion illiterate. Let's be fucking honest, right? But women take fashion seriously, and it's a sign of self-respect. If you dress like shit, then people don't really respect you, because it shows you don't respect yourself, I think. So if not a suit, at least a blazer and a pair of well-fitted jeans, a shirt, a crisp white shirt, a pair of boots. These would be good, So we examine fashion on the course, so nothing to worry about. I would guess, like anyone, Arjun, you just need to focus on just approaching more, because like 99.9% of guys we ever work with, you're probably just not doing the reps. And remember, the stream is about the social the equation we teach is social freedom, so the ability to speak to anyone, and then social intelligence. You have to be doing the reps. We always say minimum 15 approaches per week. If you're not doing that, stop watching theory, stop watching us, stop watching porn, get out and speak to people. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Sitting in your house, whining, pretending you're going to get laid. It's pathetic.
Yeah. A case in point is that I used to have this idea that naively, that if I bought some, like designer things, it would kind of increase my chances with women. So we used to go to Ibiza a lot. So I go to Ibiza with mates, and I'd often go to the shop first, and I would buy some designer t-shirts, not with a huge like Versace on it, but I would buy some like cool designer t-shirts, quite expensive, that were from cool brands. And I sort of thought, you know what, the girls are going to see me in this. They're going to think that guy's cool. They're going to want to get to know me, and meanwhile, my friend who was there wearing like his Primark t-shirts or whatever, just plain Primark t-shirts, would steam in there and just take all the girls. So, the key things really are fit. It's got to fit you well. Nothing that's going to, don't have some idea about, basic colors, black t-shirt, white t-shirt, blue t-shirt. You don't have to reinvent the fucking wheel. Keep it simple, rather than, particularly if you're not a fashion, guru, keep it simple. You don't want to go too complicated with stuff, but recognize that, in the end, yes, it's important not to look like a schlub, but beyond that, it's not going to get you over the line. It's a contributing factor if you look good, for sure, but it's not the thing that's going to get you into the bedroom with her.
Yeah, Bake Zone on the line. I hope you sign up to the Edge. It's all very well saying good to see you and all this bullshit, but sign up to the Edge, bro. If you actually want to level up and you want our 25 years of knowledge, from doing this job in one course, £579, get the Edge before it closes. It closes Absolutely. Sunday. It starts March the 14th, male Valentine's Day. It's everything you need to really level up, right? So great that you're on the stream. Great you're going to go out and approach in leads, but sign up to the Edge. It will take you to the next level. Wojak, you should be signed up because you've been on these streams. So if you're not, why not? Shadow99, sign up to the Edge. No one else. How much muscle you think it's hypothetical nonsense, mate. Sign up to the Edge. We can discuss it in there. We bring on a fitness trainer. These are hypothetical bullshit questions. The fact I know it's a paradox, but the fact you guys are actually on here watching this stuff is bad, because it means it's Saturday, it's peak day. You should be out socializing. So the fact you're not is not good.
Although to be fair, Baker says he's going out later, so fine. But
okay, so we'll finish the stream. You can sign up to the Edge, and then out he goes. Fine,
absolutely, yeah. Simple.
And if you can't afford the Edge, lads, stop watching pickup content and go and get a fucking proper job, because £579 is not much.
Not for a program like this. I mean, look, you get 10 weeks of fucking
not for 10 weeks, not for fucking 10 weeks of all this stuff. All this accountability, phone calls, you get all these fucking global experts coming in. It's fuck all, right?
I mean, basically, it's almost like it's nearly 3 months, really. It's nearly 3 months of having us effectively as your personal wingmen, because you'll be in a private group with us. You'll be able to ask us questions, run stuff
It's
by us.
pathetically low, man. We should be charging way more. And to be honest, next edge we do, let's charge more. Because the problem with blending it in with this kind of McDonald's pricing is you get chumps in who don't respect themselves and just don't want to level up in life.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just being honest. You know, this
the decision-
reality. When me and Les have charged high prices, we work with high quality individuals.
Yeah.
When we do McDonald's prices like this, we just get chumps in. And it's no disrespect to these guys, but they're just the wrong fit clients. They're not guys who want to be winners in life. They're happy being the losers. They're happy being the victims. They probably double up watching our content with black pill content, this victim mindset bullshit. And yeah, it's the wrong audience. So this is the last time we're ever going to run a product this cheap. So yeah, take it if you want it. It's unbelievable value, and you'll see once you do the course, it's unbelievable value, and you'll actually work it out and go, why the fuck haven't these guys charged more? But if you don't want to do that, then good, you can bugger off, and then the next courses will be back to the original pricing of 10K, which is what some of my clients pay, right? They're very high level individuals because they value time over money. They have self-respect and they want to get on with stuff.
I mean, if you look, you've got to remember this is arguably the most important area of your life. I mean, yes, career is important, of course, and work and stuff. But in the end,
but everyone does all that bullshit to get women. Let's be honest. Pretty much everyone does everything to inadvertently to get girls.
I mean, the connections that you make, particularly the romantic sexual relationships that you have in your life, are the most important thing, because biologically that's what we're programmed for. So this is the most important area in your life. And if you're not willing to make an investment in that to actually fucking level up, if you're having problems in this area, which obviously people are because they're watching the content, it's just fucking stupid. I mean, like, you will save so much time, and some of this stuff you probably won't be able to work out on your own. I mean, you could say, yeah, if you just approach yourself for years, maybe you can work it out. Some of it you may not be able to. There are people who've done, I think it was mentioned on the stream, people who've done 1,000 approaches and they still haven't had any results. There are people who've done.
It's pathetic. It's like, I respect the resilience for that, but what I don't respect is the stupidity of doing the same thing repeatedly wrong 1,000 times and not getting better, and being like, yeah, all these clowns, I've been in the game for 15 years, all this shit we get on these groups. So, okay, well, why are you still on these groups after 15 years, not dating women? I don't know. It's guys need to wake up. You need to learn smart. Absolutely do the reps, but you need to learn smart as well, right?
Because we can, because we know what we're doing. We can course correct you very quickly. All right. It's not hard, because we've coached hundreds of thousands of guys. It's not hard for us to look at you and say, right, this is what's going wrong. That's what's going wrong. If you correct that, if you do that a bit differently, it's going to be better. And then you've saved so much fucking time, and it means that your approach is going to be so much more effective. If you're banging your head
with this Baker Zone online comment, absolutely, I think Colonel Sanders is inspirational for carrying on, but this isn't directly applicable to day game. So if you got rejected 1,000 times in terms of the approaches and you're not getting results, no, that's not clever. Just carrying on expecting a different thing. That's the definition of insanity. Get feedback on what you're doing from us, and then course correct. Because just doing the same things repeatedly, expecting different results, is retarded. Right?
Yeah,
and we're guilty of that at times with different things, but it's a fucking pathetic mindset.
Because we see guys, who will come and they'll say, well, I've been doing day game for ages, and say, okay, right, go and do an approach. They do the approach, and then the approach is shit, or not shit, but they're just doing very obvious things. And you look at it and you think, well, I'm not surprised the girls aren't buying that. I'm not surprised that they're not getting results because of the way they're coming across. Maybe it's their tonality, what they're saying, they're being too nice and sort of airy-fairy, whatever it is. And we can correct that extremely quickly. But if that dude hadn't come on the coaching, he would just carry on doing the same thing. And then he'd say, oh, this day game thing doesn't work. It's a scam, blah, blah, blah. And probably go black pill, right? It's, and it could have been easily solved by just doing a bit of coaching.
Yeah, like, anything I'm good at, I've got a coach. I mean, it's not rocket science.
Yes.
It's just ego preventing guys doing it. This idea of I've got to fix it myself. It's just horseshit. Well, it's just literally wasting your precious seconds and breaths on planet Earth.
Yeah. So we've got a question. So Rusty Fuel says depends on the time zone. I'm not sure. What do you mean by that? Are you talking about the time zone for the webinars or something for the course? Is that what you mean?
We do it. We do the webinars typically late afternoon UK time. So it means American dudes can view the webinars and then European guys can view them. So unless you're based in some really weird time zone like Japan, we make it so that everyone can view the webinars at the appropriate time. And we tend to do them on the weekends as well. So guys are not working. So
yeah,
don't worry about that. And anyway, you know, the webinars themselves, they are important, but they're available afterwards. They're always recorded. You can go back and watch them. It's not that. What's more important is just doing the work that we give you to do. Do the process, do the work every day. Get up, do the fucking work. If you do that, you succeed at this stuff. If you don't, if you turn up just for the webinars and don't do the tasks, you don't get anywhere.
And if you had a specific question, but you weren't able to make that webinar, you could give that to us, and then we would answer it on the webinar for you, and then you could watch it the next day. Or
ask it on your personal. You've got a personal WhatsApp group with myself, Troy, and Les. You can just.
We can even send you a video direct. I mean, you know.
Yeah, it's super easy. So don't worry about that.
Yeah, there's a bit of a dick in hand question here from AJ. Why are you asking me? He's here. He says, "Hey man, curious why Tusk won't do Miami? People say,
what do you mean do Miami? I've just got no interest in going to Miami. It's overpriced. You're dealing with westernized attitude women, and you're competing with fucking, you know, probably the biggest amount of billionaires in a square mile. Why would I want to go to Miami?
Yeah,
well, I can go to places like Caracas, Bogota, places where the sexual market is ruthless. Why wouldn't I want to play that in my favor? I know there's most beauty queens of all time, Venezuela. That's why I'm flying to Caracas on Monday. No gringos allowed in. That's why I'm flying to Caracas on Monday, to make it easy for myself. When you die, there's no fucking clown sitting there with a checklist going, oh, great, approaching Starbucks on that 6 in New York, surrounded by those 3 cock blocks. Well done. All satisfaction you get in life is internal. It's a single person game. All this flexing of like, oh, you've got people saying online to different people, you've got to go here and approach here to prove you can do it. The only person in life you have to prove yourself to is yourself, right? If you like the idea of Miami, if you like that kind of vibe, if you like that environment, go and live in Miami and date in Miami. I have no interest in that environment, therefore I'm not in Miami.
I mean, you know, personally, I mean, I've been to Miami quite a few times. I've been, you know, sometimes go a couple of times a year, often to go on Fresh and Fit and stuff. It's all right. I wouldn't say it's all it's cracked up to be. It's fine. It's quite pleasant. It wouldn't be my favorite place. I would much rather, either for personal or certainly for, you know, for work or for dating, and even just for personal pleasure, I'd far rather go to, you know, a city that's with more history, with more sort of culture about it. Like I'd rather go to Mexico City. I'd rather go to fucking, you know. Anywhere. Yeah, basically. I mean, the Miami, it's okay. There's some nice bars there. It's all right, you know. There's a nice place called Moxie's. They do quite nice steaks, but in the big scheme of things, it's not setting the world on fire. There's some attractive women there, but there's not as many attractive women there as there is in Ukraine or even Warsaw, Colombia, or probably I'm certain Venezuela when James goes there. So on all counts, and it's fucking expensive. So on all counts, it's losing out. You know,
guys just need to stop worrying about other people, and they need to focus on what they want in life. Right? You've got a limit. It's life is a single person video game. You're conscious. We're all guilty of wasting vast amounts of our lives. Me more guilty than anyone. Vast amounts of my life playing the victim or just low consciousness behavior and not doing what I truly want to go after in life because I'm too scared to do it. Right. But the simple fact is, you get one chance at this and you have a unique vision on life, and in a limited number of heartbeats and breaths, that's extinguished forever. So guys need to stop worrying about other people and stop commenting online about what about this? What about this? What about this? Go and live the life that you're proud to live, right? Go and live where you want to live. Go and date the women you want to date. Go and have multiple wives or have a single wife, or just date women or have kids or not have kids. Figure out what you want in life and go and do it. Stop worrying about what other people are doing. It's completely irrelevant. The more you're worrying about other people, the more we see guys, students we work with worrying about other people, the more that's an indication that they haven't got their own priorities in order and they don't really know what they want from their own life. Because they wouldn't be sitting online commenting on other people's stuff or complaining about what other people are doing. They'd be focused on themselves, right? So give yourselves a bit more self-love, self-worth, self-respect, and start figuring out what you want in life when it comes to dating, how much money you want to earn, what you want to look like, where you want to live, all these things.
Yeah. I mean, we've got a few more dick in hand things. What about NYC? Well, again,
same thing. If you like NYC, go and live there and date there. It's not for me.
It's it's okay. I prefer it to Miami. It's still not optimal as far as dating is concerned. There's some cute girls there. I mean, it you know, very expensive again. I mean, same thing really. I do prefer it though. And then So Arjan says, is it okay to approach work colleagues? No, I wouldn't recommend.
No, this is look, Arjun, fucking sort yourself out. You should know if this is your first ever stream watching us. Okay, you're forgiven. But if you watched content before about cold approach, we must have said it 1,000 times. Don't dip your pen in the company ink. Don't fucking hit on your own colleagues. It's messy. Cold approach is approaching people you don't know. Right, that's the beauty of
And he's frozen again. But I think what he's going to say is that's the beauty of cold approach, right? You're talking to people that you don't know, you don't have a prior connection with, and so and so you can if it goes wrong, there's not any huge drawback to it. Okay, there's not any huge drawback to it. It's it's a kind of it's a win-win really, because you can go up, you can make the approach, shoot your shot. If it goes well, then great. If it doesn't go well, it doesn't really matter. If you fuck up at work, if you make an approach at work and then that doesn't go your way, then you could be liable to be shamed publicly. You could get into trouble, and ultimately you could even lose your job. She complains to HR or whatever, and you're screwed. So approaching at work is not a good thing. What we teach is basically meeting new people. Meeting people outside your social circle, outside of your workplace, outside of your salsa class or whatever. Just meeting different new people, and there's a beauty in that, and it really widens your scope as well. Oh, for fuck's sake, Adrian. So, this whole Miami thing. I mean, yeah, we live in the West. We must come home. It must be applicable. It's hard mode in Miami and LA. I don't think it's only try and let's do Miami. If a guy crushes it in Miami, he can crush it anywhere. Well, I mean, it's just a pointless question. Yeah, maybe, whatever. But I mean, the first thing to say about that is that there is still value in doing a boot camp in, say, Bogota, Colombia, because rather than somewhere like Miami or London, because even though, yes, you could argue it's easier, what it does mean is you'll be able to get into more interactions. You'll get a fuck ton of reference experience. You'll probably get some positive reference experiences as well. And then when you go back to the hard mode place, it's gonna then that energy is going to come with you, and it's going to be easier for you in that hard mode place. So there's still an argument. But if you want to do Miami, he says I figured out Miami. Well, great. I mean, I don't think Miami's impossible. I think it's probably I think there are harder places than Miami. So great, horses for courses. But the reality is, I've still seen more better-looking women in Colombia and in Warsaw and in Ukraine than I have in Miami, and that's simply the truth of it. So there it is. Can you keep me posted on your next Miami trip, Troy Francis? Yes. So why don't you drop me a message, troy@realtroyfrancis.com. Just drop me an email, troy@realtroyfrancis.com, and then we can keep in touch about that. Okay, troy@realtroyfrancis.com. Email, drop me an email. We can have a chat. We can keep in touch, and we can maybe figure something out. What else have we got here? That's about it, probably. What about Paris?
These are just second-hand questions. I'm refusing to answer. None of these dudes are even approaching, so I'm not just going to sit here and answer hypotheticals. Guys, you just got to get on with it. I know this is ranty, but it's just these are dudes that haven't even left their house asking questions about traveling to countries. It's like, get the fuck out your house wherever you live and start speaking to women, and then come and ask us about, what about this place, this place, this place. But if you're not even getting out your own house in your own neighborhood, opening your mouths to women around there, stop hypotheticalizing about other fucking foreign lands. And I know for a fact, if you're on this stream, that you're not out approaching, even where you live, let alone. So stop asking stupid hypotheticals.
I mean, the honest answer really is you can make something happen anywhere, pretty much. I mean, Paris, London, New York. Yeah, you can meet girls and you can have sex.
Focus on the process, the reason I got absolutely, and focus on the process. Part of the reason I got in, a large part of the reason I got into cold approach, because I was fucking bored about being isolated and socially anxious, and I wanted connection with people. And I guarantee, if you walk out your house off this call, wherever you are in the world, as long as it's not a fucking village, and you just go and start speaking to a few people and bantering with a few people, you're going to feel way, way, way better about yourself, right? Forget the result. Forget trying to get laid. Just go out and speak to a few people. Banter with people you come across. And the reason you're going to feel better about that is because we are built to be social animals. We're living in the most isolated and loneliest time in the history of mankind. We didn't live like this for years. We didn't live in isolation. We lived in tribes. We lived in fucking packs, right? We're very, very sociable beings. So even if you technically think you're introverted, you're not evolutionarily supposed to be that way. You're supposed to be interacting with people. And you don't have the same, listening to us on the screen, watching us on the screen is not the same as human connection, as actually walking up to someone in real life and having a conversation. So just start going out and being social. You've got no excuse. It's Saturday. Every day I go for walks for 45 minutes. Doesn't matter how I feel. And on that walk, anyone I come across, I'm just going to, maybe it's a guy who walks past with a dog. I might nod and say, what type of dog is it? Or I go into a coffee shop, I banter with the barista a bit, or I see a cute girl, I talk to them. But I'm trying to be social, right? Because it makes you feel present, puts you at a higher frequency of existence. Like when you do exercise, you feel good. When you socialize, you feel good, right?
Yeah.
That's why we're socialized. So stop being, so let's just get this into a process every day of thinking, right, get out of the house, go for a walk, speak to a couple of people. I guarantee if you start doing that, you'll start building massive momentum and you'll start getting options with dating. But if you sit in splendid isolation, which most people do in their fucking house and don't leave, and you don't need to leave. Modern society is geared up so you don't have to do anything. You can get the pizza delivery guy around with his big sausage pizza to deliver you your food. You can sit on the internet playing games. You can masturbate to porn. You can literally become like the Japanese guys, shut-ins, right? Which is in no reason there's such a high suicide rate in Japan. We crave human contact, and it has to be done face-to-face, right? So get out your fucking house off this stream and go and speak to some people.
Yeah,
I guarantee regardless of the result, you'll feel better about it.
There's a few people pushing back on the assumption that they don't approach. So Rupee is saying that he does. He says it's possible we aren't complete losers. It's possible.
But the fact look, again, I'm not calling people out individually here. I'm just trying to be. It's trying to be tough love, and guys reacting to that. That for me, again, maybe lost in translation, which happens on text and screen sometimes. But that sounds like about how I answer, like, oh, he's offended me. People tend to get offended in life when you say something that resonates because it's kind of true, right?
Yeah,
so Joe Rogan talked about that. If someone comes up to me and goes, Tusk, I hate the way you steal stuff from people, right? I wouldn't get affected by that at all. But if they came up to me and go, Tusk, sometimes you're a bit too hedonistic, right? I kind of lose respect for you on that. You drink too much, you do too many drugs. That would offend me because there's a resonance of truth in it, right? So if you're reacting in that way to what I'm saying, there's a resonance of truth there.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, like we're not directing this specifically at the people who are commenting in the chat because there's a bunch of people watching this and other people.
We're directing at everyone who doesn't have the balls to walk out of the house and interact with the opposite sex every day. Yeah. So don't take it personally. It's meant to be tough love. If you actually listen to what I'm saying and take the actions that we suggest, which is go out every day and just speak to a couple of human beings, I guarantee you'll feel better about it. I guarantee you'll be in a better headspace in life.
And then he's asking, oh, sorry, not that one. Any tips on sober interactions? I think you don't drink, me neither. Yeah, I mean, it's just the same, man. It's no different, really. It may be a night game. I mean, basically, there's no difference. You go up, you introduce yourself to the girl, you make a compliment, you get into some banter, you flirt, blah, blah, blah. It's exactly the same. There's no difference, really.
That's not unknowns. That's not the point of what I was trying to make either from that unknown character. I'm saying, look, forget, just focus on the process. Forget the end result here, right? The end result is, okay, supermodel in your bed. What's the process to date anyone? Go and speak to people. Go interact. Because whether you meet them through a fucking a social media dating app or whatever, you're still going to have to interact with them on the date. You're still going to have to seduce them. So you can't avoid the social skills bit unless you start having sex with AI-generated robots or just keep masturbating at home. You have to interact with human beings.
Well, I suspect he's coming at it from a slightly black-pilled angle from his previous comment. Basically saying there's no point in approaching.
Great. How many women have you approached in the last 6 months, right? To prove or disprove the point? Probably zero. So how would you know?
Exactly. Anyway, the edge closes.
To sit online as a faceless fucking name and not take action in life. That's the easy thing. That's the low threshold to entry. The hard thing is level up as a human being. The hardest journey you can go on as a man is self-actualization, right? And actually just honestly see yourself for who you are, take the ego out of it, list out unemotionally all the areas you need to get better. How much money do you want to be earning a month? What shape do you want to be in? What clothes do you want to wear? What women do you want to be dating? And actually fucking do the work to do it. And if you think that you can't do it, objectively speaking, your mentality is weak. Because if you look at people who gave these talks like Sean Stevenson, Prisoner of Your Own Mind, or that girl, Izzy Wheel, no limbs, 14-year-old girl on stage at TED Talk, and you compare yourself to these people, you're objectively way more valuable. But the fucking thing that you don't have is a strong mindset. You've got a victim, pathetic mindset, which is why you create your own mental prison and you sit in life not achieving fuck all and complaining about it on the internet. And again, that's going to annoy some people, but that's the fucking truth. And if that triggers you, you need to take a look in the mirror and figure out where you're at and where you want to go, and you've got to do the fucking work to get there.
Exactly. And on that note, the Edge closes tomorrow at midnight Pacific time. The link is in the chat. It's there. It's in the description below the video. So go and have a look.
These victims are going to sign up to it, so it's irrelevant. Put in the chat there, but yeah, it's all good.
Well, go and have a look at the link at least. Go and have a look at because it will give you all the information that you need about the course, and you can decide. But you should jump on board because it's £579. Not very much money at all. You get 10 weeks of us ranting.
Maybe it's worth you just typing these people into the chat, Troy, if you can write. Can you just type these names in so they can go and maybe look at some of these people and compare themselves and see where these people are at versus them? So John Morrow, Jon Morrow, Jon, John Morrow, second name Morrow. That's one guy. Sean Stevenson, Sean, and then Stevenson without the V, the PH version. And Izzy Wheel, Izzzy. New word, Wealle. Go and look at these people in the positions they're in life. In fact, Sean Stevenson's dead now, but the other two, go and Google them, right? So Google John Morrow, see what state he's in. He's a multi-millionaire, and all he can do is move his eyeballs. He's locked in a chair, right? Right? You've got fucking Sean Stevenson, who was an inspirational dude. The guy crushed over in the chair, gave an amazingly inspirational speech at TED Talk, Prisoner of Your Own Mind. Izzy Wheel, one of the most inspirational people. I met her. I saw her at a talk years back randomly. She was 14 when she did this talk. She's got no limbs, and she's like getting a race car driving license. She's doing all this stuff, and she's a 14-year-old girl, right? And you've got fully grown men sitting here who can't even walk out their own fucking house and speak to someone, who have no disabilities. Your disability is in your fucking mindset. Stop playing the victim and get out there. And I'm really ranting at myself for when I dip into these victim mentality states, right?
Yeah.
In life, we have no fucking excuse. We're so lucky, objectively, compared to most of the world. What is it? 40% of the world lives on less than $1 a day.
Yeah.
Are you part of that 40% people watching? Fuck no. So why are you sitting here complaining about life? Right? Do something about it. Change your position. Don't just sit there victimizing yourself and whining. It's pathetic.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Charlotte, so we always get these women on the stream who really buy into our message, and then everyone else just sits there and doesn't do anything.
Because I don't mind. Look, women are born, men are made. I don't mind if a woman sits there complaining. That's fine.
She's not complaining. She's saying she loves
it. But if women were watching this and going, James, I don't agree with your message, that's absolutely fine. I don't expect it from women, but I expect a higher standard from men, because men are made. They're not born.
Well,
That is that simple. You have to build your value as a man over years. It's the hero's journey. It wasn't called the heroine's journey. It's the hero's journey. As a man with a dick and a pair of balls, you need to get after it. That's it.
There's a great Wes Watson. So listening to his stuff, there's a great thing. He says something like he's ranting, and there's something like, so people ask me how did I do it, and I said I looked down between my legs and I saw a dick and a balls hanging there, and I was like, fuck, that's how I did it.
He's very. I would encourage actually a lot of these dudes, if you're in a negative mental headspace and you have been for years on end, go and watch some Wes Watson stuff. Go up on Spotify. He does 10-minute long episodes. Very, very inspirational dude, and a self-made man. 10 years locked up inside. Now a multi-millionaire, flying around in a private jet. All self-made. It's the power of the mind, gents.
That's why our message. That's why our message. It's a mixture between listening to Wes Watson and doing a shitload of trends. So our message is getting much harder edge now, but for the good, really, because I think, like you said, James, I think we pussyfoot around a lot. and try to be really British.
I'm bored. Like, people are going to start disliking me a lot more, I think. But I'm bored of pandering to the fucking great unwashed and pretending it's all good for them. Right? It's not all good. If you're not where you want to be in life, you have to change it. No one is coming to save your fucking ass. If you're a man, you have to take control. You are the conscious creator. You have to take self-responsibility, self-accountability. And that's not what people want to hear, but that's the reality. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But don't sit there criticizing people who are trying to help other people level up.
Indeed. Good stuff. Well, unless there's any more questions, I guess that's probably a good place to end. Unless you've got any further.
No, get over to the edge. We'll see you there. Again, everything's in the edge to help you level up. It's tough love. It's all there if you want to do it. If you don't, no problem. It's only 500 quid. If you can't afford that, go and work on your finances.
Absolutely. So, James had 1,000 videos or over 1,000 videos deleted. And basically, really, everything you need to know is in this program. So just go there instead. It's fine. All right, guys. See you again very soon. We'll probably be back tomorrow. So see you then. Bye.